Your mic is still off.
Good afternoon. Welcome to another wrestling podcast. With
Good
Bob.
afternoon. Finally.
Hey, we're two in a row. 2 weeks in a row.
I know. What's going on here?
It is the wrestling Super Bowl called WrestleMania time. There's a
Right
good.
now, I'm still working on sharing this out. And you were flashing again.
Was. Is that your side or my side that notifications are coming through?
Uh, well, those dings you're hearing,
Yeah.
that's me. Um,
Okay.
people, people are chatting in the Fear Fans chat.
Yeah, I just muted the notifications for a couple hours so you can get stuff dinging in my ear. All right. I am trying to get the link to the show and it's not popping up for some reason.
Okay. All right. So we are 1 week away from WrestleMania.
1 week. Um,
And there's a lot going on, too.
yes. Do that.
Got WrestleMania Saturday and Sunday. You got Stand and Deliver um, on Saturday. You got the Hall of Fame on Friday night after SmackDown, but it's going to be in its own arena. So
Yeah,
that's
I did see that. Totally different, which I can understand that because of the um, the setup for WrestleMania.
yeah. Well, I wasn't a fan of them doing the Hall of Fame right after SmackDown, right there in the arena. I get trying to save the cost of the arenas and things like that, but they were selling tickets to these things, so they should have been making money off of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, this is going to be good, and also to go along with WrestleMania being in Las Vegas, they I know you haven't seen it yet, but they had just released a documentary about WrestleMania 9 that was also in Las Vegas, and I have to say it was really interesting. Um, Definitely worth the watch, but um, one thing to be we- weary about, or one thing to be aware of is there is a picture that is shown briefly. Um, it's not it's not horrible, but it is a picture of Buddhist the Barber Beefcake
hmm
shortly after the parasailing accident that destroyed his face. Um, the picture that they show, I never thought anything would ever be shown. Um, Honestly, I didn't think anything should ever be shown about that. But what this picture here looked like is that he was in a fight. Um, he had one black eye and dried blood coming out of his nose, and that was really it. Um, but it was still a bit of a shocker seeing it. Because, like I said, I never ever expected anything from that incident being made public. Nor did I think it should ever have been made public, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have done it unless they had his okay.
I'm sure. I'm about to check that excuse me, the documentary out.
It's really good. It's about 2 hours long. Um, but they actually, it was the first time they had done this. They wanted to document this WrestleMania. Hello, Lois. They wanted to document that WrestleMania, um, probably because it was in Vegas, and probably because they were having to completely build the the Roman Coliseum basically for the event, because it was all in a parking lot. I know they said that they were going to transform the Roman Coliseum, which is actually inside Caesar's Palace. But what they really did was they built the entire thing in the parking lot.
That's a feat upon itself.
It was, um, and
Well,
looking at it on pay per view, you'd never be able to tell. It looked like an outdoor arena, like the other places.
they've been over a month ago. They started, setting up for WrestleMania 41.
I seen pictures. I I was kind of surprised that they started that long ago because I thought, like in the past, I think they had 2 weeks to go in and build everything, but not this time around. So there's got to be something going on.
Well, I saw a picture of the stage, not completed, but it's really high off the arena floor, from what I could tell from the picture.
Yeah,
So, you know, I would like to see a show of kind of the a documentary based on just the current WrestleMania. You kind of build it like they did last year, which was delayed coming out supposedly from when it actually got released. It was supposed to have been like right after WrestleMania, but it was like on YouTube a few weeks later, or even a month later or something. But I like to see a documentary, the ins and outs, behind the scenes, the building of, what all goes into prepping for a major event like that. You know,
well, all we know, they've probably been doing that for several years now, um, for the sole purpose of putting out documentaries. I I enjoy watching these things. It is so cool to see, and I'm so glad that they did that for WrestleMania 9.
well, there's a lot more in the wrestling show as far as WWE goes now, um, that's being put out, and it's done for the past few years than just your regular shows. Your Raw, your SmackDown, your pay-per-views.
Right.
Now it's all these different documentaries coming out of different wrestlers and different events, and you get to see behind the scenes of you know how everything's done and discuss matches and just I'm really enjoying all of that, especially when they filmed Taker for a couple of years on his last couple of years running. Of course, they kept it all quiet
Yeah.
until he officially retired and all that stuff, and then just started putting all this stuff out. It's like so it's really interesting to see
And
the
they
real people behind it.
his official announcement of his retirement too.
Mm-hmm.
That took everybody. Well, I guess I
You
shouldn't say it took everybody by surprise on the retirement because we knew it was coming.
which is kind of nuts because it went from the in ring performance. Then he's got the podcast that he does that does live also does live shows, and I think he's got. I know for a fact he's got one at WrestleMania weekend that he's doing in front of everybody. Um,
I think it's called the One Dead Man Show.
I think so. Yeah. But I'll come across video every once in a while of his. They're talking about just different stuff, and um,
See, one Dead Man show will take place Saturday 19th at 10 p.m.
so that's after.
p.m. Pacific. So that's not going to be until 1 in the morning for me.
So that's after the show is over.
It
So
it's going to be after everything after the post show too, and it's going to be at the Fontaine Blue. Let's see.
for being retired, he is still got a full schedule, full plate. The podcast and everything else. He's even uh, doing stuff at the NXT center with these new guys coming in. Performance Center, not NXT.
Yeah, I remember this casino. That thing is tall. Yeah, that thing was really really tall because um several years ago when I went to Vegas for one of my bowling tournaments, I stayed at the Circus, and that's right across the street from the Fontaine Blue. And that one was, I think, at the time was under construction. I was looking at that and thinking, this is going to be the tallest casino in the city.
One of these days, maybe after I retire, I'll go to Vegas. Never been there.
It's a good time. Um, it's a good time. Lots to do. Just walking the strip is was amazing, but it is a long trip. Um,
So you've been to New Orleans, correct?
huh?
You've been to New Orleans, right?
Just real quick in and out. I haven't
Okay.
actually been into the center of just the outskirts of it.
Okay, so you haven't been down the French Quarter and all that stuff during nighttime. So I wonder, is it like French Quarter on steroids,
Uh,
as far as the, activities and everything going?
oh, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised.
I think the farthest west I've been is New Mexico. I think, yeah, New Mexico as far as I've been west.
Just go a little bit further, and you can get to the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Arizona, Utah. What's the Four Corners there? Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado.
It's further west than New Mexico is. Because you got New Mexico, Arizona, and then California.
Yeah, but that's not one of the four. California's not one of the four in that whole scenario. Oh goodness, what's happening?
And being in being in Vegas, you are not that far from Death Valley.
Yeah, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico makes up the Four Corners, where the four
Oh, the Four Corners.
right where the four states join. I've been there.
Okay.
You can stand in one spot. You can stand in one spot, and you're in four different states.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool to be at. just thinking of, let's say somebody is on parole and they go to Four Corners.
Yeah, there's a movie. I don't remember exactly the whole uh, details of the movie. I just remember they were. Why am I blank?
You just shared the show to our chat that only you and I are.
Oh, wrong one. There we go. Am I still blank? Why am I blacked out? Am I blacked out on your side?
Nothing's coming up on my end except for that one in our chat.
Can you see me on the screen?
Oh, you're frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, you are frozen.
All right. What is going on? Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Yeah, because now it's going. Then it was going back and forth between off camera, on camera, off camera, on camera.
All right. Let me relaunch. Be right back.
Alrighty. Okay, now this is. See, kind of play around with this a little bit. Huh. Interesting. I like this new layout. Okay, so while Donald is tending to his issue, oh,
Don't know.
I can see you now.
All right. Just had to reboot, refresh, whatever. It'll be a good podcast without some kind of technical difficulties. So, you want to start talking about WrestleMania?
Yeah, WrestleMania. We got several more matches that have been announced since our last show. We are now sitting at 13 matches. They want 14, so I'm sure there's going to be something with Randy Orton. I've got my suspicion on what's going to happen. Um,
Um,
but we
yeah,
got so many other different matches, and at the same time, there are a lot of people who are being left off of this that I'm not too thrilled about. Like for instance, the Miz is not in a match this year, and from what I'm reading, he's had a match every year for the last almost 2 decades, and he's not in this one. So I not too thrilled about that one.
well, with Randy Orton, Kevin Owens got. If you hadn't noticed, Kevin Owens is out indefinitely. So his match with Randy Orton has been canceled. So they're leading. They're calling audible, and I think it's going to. Pretty sure it's going to be Randy Orton and Solo.
I'm thinking it's going to be Randy Orton and Nick Aldis versus Solo and Tama.
You think? Well, it might be. You know,
Yeah, because this would give Nick a WrestleMania match. Um, and even Randy teased it on Friday.
Mm.
Hey, dust off the thing unless you and I go at it at WrestleMania. So they're teasing something. And I think Nick Aldis is going to be involved in a match in some way. I think it'll be a tag match.
Well, they're in a tag match. Or was it that? Or was that Friday night that they actually? Yeah, it was SmackDown where they had the tag match, wasn't it?
For
Randy and LA Knight.
oh yeah, that
Yeah,
was it the main event of
I had to watch highlights. I didn't get to see the show, and I have not seen the highlights of that. All I know is that the end of it that Fatu came out, Jacob Fatu came out
mhm,
and hit LA Knight.
yeah. Well, I'm glad that Jacob Fatu has got his own match at WrestleMania, and in a way, if I was Solo, I'd be upset because this is the third WrestleMania now that Solo has not had a match. He's made appearances during the main event, but he has not had his own match. And now Jacob comes in just not even a year ago, and he's got a match for a championship.
Solo's got to reinvent himself because now it's no longer the bloodline. That's kind of off to the side now. So he didn't have anything, for a long time. It was part of the bloodline. Part of the bloodline. They always, had that stuff going on. And Roman left, and then he takes over the bloodline until the whole, you know, him and Roman went at it. Now it's like he's just out in limbo right now. I would, if I was, they really haven't put a faction together. They ought to get some kind of name for his new group that he's got if we're going to do something.
I don't know if I would even call it a group that they've got anymore because when Solo was gone, it was just Tama and Jacob. And then Solo came back, and it seemed like there's tension between Solo and the other two guys. And now, out of nowhere, Tama is coming out with Solo. So I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. It's just kind of confusing right now.
Uh, I would like to see Jacob and Solo go at it at some point in time.
They probably will.
And Jacob could very easily turn a babyface, if you will. Um, Crap. I'm getting an all call at the fire department, and they just went out. I'm gonna mute this for just a second.
Okay. Hmm. So something's going on. So while Donald is taking care of that, I'll get back into the WrestleMania 9 documentary. Um, it was a really good show. I highly recommend it. They talk about how the deal came together for the WWF to bring WrestleMania to Las Vegas. It was actually Caesar's Palace that requested that they bring it, which I think might have been the first time that it happened. I'm not sure if that or Trump Plaza might have been the first one. I'm not sure. Um, but this ended up being the precursor to what we would see in WrestleManias down the road, where they built literally everything. How now they build all the entrances, the sets, and everything. Uh, they did that very thing at WrestleMania 9. So this became the precursor of what we would see later on down the road. And the way that they did it was just so brilliant. Um, but they were worried there for a little bit because I don't I don't remember when it was announced that they were going to be in Vegas, but as of December of '92, so this is 5 months before the event, they had only sold 2,000 tickets. Um, and it was a 16,000 seat arena. Um, so they were worried about the ticket sales, and they think a lot of it has to do with Hulk Hogan not being with the company. But in February, when Brutus Beefcake came back and then had that thing with Money Incorporated, Ted DiBiase, and IRS, Hulk Hogan came back right after that, and they announced that Hulk Hogan and Brutus Beefcake will be taking on Money Incorporated at WrestleMania, and next thing we know, the ticket sales go up, um, which in a way kind of hurt the other wrestlers because they were trying to make it as a company without Hulk Hogan, and this showed that that wasn't happening. Um, but after this year's WrestleMania, then it would pick up for um, the following WrestleMania, WrestleMania 10, which was kind of an oddball of a WrestleMania when you look at everything, the way that the whole setup was for that one. But this one here was the changing of the guard, so to speak, or they tried to do a changing of the guard. Um, but it was the very end of what we would see with Hogan for 9 more years, because the next year um, he wasn't with WCW for the following year's WrestleMania, but he would be a few months after that. Welcome back, Donald.
Sorry for the mishap. We had a bad wreck in town, and it was in the area where my family were just at. So I was making sure it wasn't none of them. So
So
everybody's good.
everything's okay.
Everybody's good on my side.
Okay, that's good. So, where were we at?
We were talking about Solo. We were talking about Jacob Fatu,
Okay,
possibly one day turning babyface, as you will, if you will, going to get Solo. So
so I wouldn't be at all surprised if Jacob Fatu wins the United States title.
I think it. I think that's my pick,
Yeah.
and that's something we should do. We should make during this podcast here is give our opinion as who's going to win. I think on Fatu and LA Knight, it's going to be Fatu. Did you see any of the highlights of him when he hit LA Knight Friday night where he did those
Yes, I did.
moonsaults? Oh my God, a man that size should not be able to perform that as well as he did.
We've been saying that
And he's like,
since he's
it's
debuted, but yeah, I think it's very clear that they're going to be strapping the rocket on him because there was just how do you not push somebody like him?
yeah. Uh, he he'll be a world champion one day.
I have no doubt. I have no doubt. And let's see here. He's only 32. So he's got plenty of time.
If he can stay out of the injury area. Yeah, she hadn't had a good run there for a little bit. He hurt his ankle or leg or something.
Yeah, we thought SummerSlam.
Maybe he
Yeah,
was out a little bit.
yeah, he was wearing a boot for a couple of weeks. Um, Turned out to not be as serious as what it was, what people thought.
Bruised, bruised bone, something probably.
Um, so they're on night one. Let's run down the card. So here's what I've got listed for night one. Tiffany Stratton defending the women's championship against Charlotte Flair. Gunther defending the world championship against Jey Uso. The War Raiders defending the world tag team championship against the New Day. LA Knight and Fatu. And we have Jade Cargill against Naomi. Rey Mysterio against El Grande Americano. Laugh. We can laugh all we want, but I gotta say I am really happy that with everything he's been doing these last few years, he finally gets a singles match at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
And then in the main event for night one will be Roman Reigns, CM Punk, and Seth Rollins. And boy, has everything been taking twists and turns and you name it. This match has got it all. Um, but let's start with Tiffany and Charlotte.
okay.
I,
I'm writing some notes here.
okay. Right now, for me, it's a little too close to call on trying to pick a winner out of this.
I see Tiffany winning this one. The only way I could see it going the other way is if Flair wins it, to give her that. Um, it won't she be even with her father then?
No, she's two behind him.
Okay. Um, I can see her winning it and then probably dropping it on a rematch. But if not, I really think Tiffany's going to wind up winning this one.
Let's see here. 6, 7, so that's 13, 14. Technically, if you want to include the NXT Women's Championship as a world title, then she would be tied with Rick. Um, but I
I
think
don't think you
it's
should add that one.
not considered a world championship.
It's gotten personal as far as the writing goes. Um,
It's gotten very personal.
I think it's going to be a really good match. Of course, Flair took her out. I saw some highlights where she took Stratton out.
Yeah, out there in the parking lot.
Well, no, this was at a ringside. She was laying. Tiffany Stratton was thrown
Through
over
tip
the announce table.
match.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. But there was also she also went after her in the parking lot.
I saw that.
I don't know if that was the same day or not. I think it was.
That could have been.
Yeah. I right now the way things are, everything is leading to Tiffany winning, but you know how it is with Charlotte. It's like she wins everything.
Yeah.
Um, I think it will be a really good match. I don't think it's going to quite reach up to what Charlotte and Rhea were. 'Cause to me, that was the greatest women's match ever.
Well, looking at the match card, are they going to go by that in the sequence, or is this just randomly matches that they're just who's going to be first? In other words,
Are you looking at the Wikipedia thing?
yeah.
I think the way that they do this is they list them in order of what's announced, what's officially announced. Um, Granted, they got the Roman match at the very end, but that's been confirmed as the main event.
Correct.
All of the others are listed as what's been announced. Although, if you look at night two, they have Liv Morgan and Raquel against Bailey and Lyra. That match was just set 2 nights ago, and they
Yeah,
got
on night three.
yeah. But they announced this match would be taking place a couple weeks ago, so maybe that's why it's placed where it's at. Um, but as far there you go, you're flashing.
It's got to be something to do with this headset.
I don't know. Your headset has got to be your camera.
Yeah, but it's tied into the computer, and I just moved the cable a little bit
Oh,
with my arm.
move it again then.
No.
Nothing. So Gunther and Jay. First of all, I feel bad that they're not main eventing, um, but I get it. So I can see this being the opening match for night one. I can easily see that. Because who better to get the crowd up and going than Jay?
Yeah, I agree. I think that'll be the first match. Um,
If it's not the first match, then it's going to be the last match before
Roman and Emma.
Brett. Yeah, it's going to be one or the other.
I don't see another match
Put it.
on here other than the Tiffany Charlotte match, and that could be a very good match to start off with. It's either going to be that one or Gunther and Jay, but I think Gunther and Jay will probably, in my opinion, probably be the first match. Second will be Jade and Naomi or the tag match. Um,
I think the tag match will be the
the
second
second.
because they had been doing that consistently lately. The tag matches has second.
So if we go J tag match, then Stratton and Flair.
Uh, no, I'm going to go with Jade and Naomi as third.
Third,
Yeah, and then maybe Tiffany and Charlotte. Um, Followed by Ray and Chad, LA and Jacob, and then Roman, CM Punk, and Seth.
I don't know who to pick on that match. Something's leading me to it's either going to be Punk or Rollins. I don't see Roman winning because I think they're going to do some kind of. I think Paul Heyman is going to wind up either on purpose or inadvertently costing Roman the match.
A lot of people are predicting that Paul is going to turn on both Roman and CM and go with Rollins.
That would be a big twist, and then he goes to a heel.
Yeah.
Um, that would be a good twist because
Yeah.
you that's something you would not
Well,
expect.
Seth says that Paul Heyman owes him a favor.
Hmm.
So,
After
yeah,
that'd be a good little twist.
really interesting. But when it comes to picking a winner, Seth is Seth closed the show as a winner. Roman has closed many shows as a winner. CM Punk has not.
And that could be there again a rift between uh, Seth and Roman with Paul Heyman in the middle of it for costing Roman the match, and that would give CM Punk his win at WrestleMania, uh, and still have some storyline to build off of that whole match instead of it being a one done thing.
Oh, I'm very certain that this will continue on. I wouldn't be surprised if there's something going on between at least two of them at SummerSlam.
Uh, could be the more or less the rights to Paul Heyman
That
with Punk and Roman.
Hi Nick. That
Yeah,
yeah,
Nick.
that involves Paul because like you said, it is not going to end on that night. Um, I remember making a suggestion that something will happen and Roman demands a one-on-one with CM Punk the next night. I still think that will happen. Uh,
That's only if Roman loses.
yeah, he would have to lose absolutely. So if Seth Rollins ends up winning the match, then I can see Roman demanding CM Punk by himself the next night. But I think it's pretty clear that something big is going to happen during that match.
I agree. So, first match, Tiffany Charlotte. I got Tiffany.
I can't. I would like to see Tiffany because she's younger. She is the next generation. Um, but Charlotte can still go
She can still go, but it's kind of it doesn't benefit Charlotte to win.
unless this is on her track to break her dad's record. And even Rick himself has said, if anybody's going to break my record, it's going to be her. It's not going to be John.
Right.
You know, Take it however you want. Um, but I'm 50-50. I cannot I cannot pick a winner between those two right now. I can easily see it going either way. For Gunther and Jay,
Jay.
I want to see Jay win it. Um, because I can see him opening Monday Night Raw with that title around his waist and doing the whole yeet thing.
And everybody going nuts,
Yeah.
even more so than usual.
Um, and also, it by him winning the title, it would show that he truly is no longer just a tag guy or no longer indistinguishable from Jimmy.
Hmm.
Hey, Nigel.
Hey, Nigel.
Um, but I can see the writing on the wall now that Gunther will end up retaining. Number one, because they are not main eventing night one, like a lot of people thought they would be. Um, while he does have the entire arena, the entire stadium yeeting with him, there is a lot of backlash online. Now, granted, social media can be stupid. I think you and I both agree on that.
I agree.
But sometimes it does get to the point where you simply can't ignore what's online. Just like they did last year with Cody. There is that backlash saying we don't want Rock and Roman, we want Cody and Roman, and sure enough, they pivoted and went for that match. So with that, I would kind of have to give the nod to Gunther.
Yeah, I think it's Jay's time, regardless of because you do have a lot that, and that's going to be on any match people talk about. They want, they put up negative remarks and this and that, and talking about, they're not ready. All they got is the yeet and all that stuff. I've seen some of that stuff, but I think and he doesn't necessarily need it, but I think he's going to wind up winning it.
I'm going to agree. He doesn't need it, but if he does win it, it would definitely help stand him out because every other member of his family that's won the Rumble, they have also been world champions. So he needs to win this to be up on that level.
Hmm.
Um, as much as I would love to see Jay win it, I want him to win it, but I think it's going to end up being Gunther. Um, it's close to call, but I'm going to give the nod to Gunther.
We're on different sides on both of these.
Yeah.
See if it continues. All
Well,
right,
at least one of us is going to be right.
that's right. It's 50-50 chance. All
Yep.
right, Jade and Naomi. I think Bianca is going to get involved in this some way, shape, or form.
I completely agree.
Um, she's not on the thing till night two, which, depending on what happens the first night, will, to me, probably bleed over into the second night. Um, I think story wise, Naomi is going to wind up with a win. Uh, Fair or not? No.
No, we are finally in agreement on that one.
I think Naomi is going to wind up pulling the win, and I think Bianca is going to be somewhere involved in that, and that might start pushing the Jade and Bianca uh, story.
What I think is going to happen is Bianca is going to cost Jade the match and reveal herself as the one who actually attacked Jade because
She's going to throw out the storyline wise. She's going to throw out this whole her carrying Jade, and she's the real superstar, and she's had to carry her because of her in ring abilities and blah blah blah. And uh, I think that's the way it's going to kind of go.
because I think that see if what they have been doing lately is they've just been putting little tiny details in that nobody sees or hears until much later when it becomes very apparent. So I started really paying attention to what these people are doing with all with everything. And for Jade and Naomi, when Jade said that when she came to, she saw Naomi running away. She
And
didn't
it
say
might.
anything about Naomi coming after. All she saw was Naomi running away. So automatically she thinks Naomi's the one that did it.
So what if Bianca and Naomi were both in cahoots with it, and they're both to blame?
I'm thinking that Naomi is protecting Bianca. And because when she said, I did it, I did it, I did it, that's not a convincing I did it. And Bianca is crying because she's realizing what Naomi is doing for her. And it's going to come to a head where Bianca can't do it anymore. She attacks Jade and revealing that, yes, I'm the one who did it. Naomi was just trying to protect me. I think that's what, and I think what will end up happening is there is a feud between Bianca and Naomi for a little while at first. Maybe those two having a match at SummerSlam, and then start working towards Jade and Bianca at WrestleMania next year. That's my guess.
That's a long time uh, to really build this story up uh, for the climactic thing to happen at Royal Rumble.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Now, um, it's not as big as a bloodline, by no means, because that story has went on just twists and turns, for years now.
Nothing will touch the bloodline. Judgment Day has been really, really, really good, but even that doesn't touch the bloodline.
Yeah. So we're in agreement, Naomi.
Okay. War Raiders and New Day.
Um, I think the New Day is going to wind up pulling the win. There we go.
Yep, it's happening again. And you didn't touch a wire this time, did you?
Now I touched the mouse, and it's like I think it has something to do with the amount of stuff I've got opened up.
Yeah.
It's taking all
I can see
taking.
New Day winning. Um, let's see how many tag titles Have they won? Okay, they are 11 times tag team champions. And then one extra with winning the NXT tag team championship. That might actually be a record, wouldn't it?
Maybe.
Any other team has won more tag titles than they have. Um, I would like to see Big E get involved in some way.
That's a possibility.
Yeah, I would like to see him involved in some way. I heard a rumor that he is cleared to wrestle. And if that ends up being true, then maybe something will happen with him and New Day, and then they can start building up to something. But I heard a rumor that he has been cleared.
I'm looking at this tag title stuff now. And for New Day on my list has 5. Uh,
Five.
New Day on this other one is 6. So that's 11.
Okay, well I've got 4 and 7 where I'm looking at.
New Day 4 with, well, it's got all 3 of them.
The
Let's
Raw
just,
tag titles, which is what they're going after right now.
maybe it's 6 or 7 reign. Maybe that's what it is.
Um, for Xavier,
Combined reigns. Here we go. Usos 5, New Day 6. That's just on SmackDown.
for Xavier, I think this here will only be his second.
I think the New Day has the record. Um,
Okay.
the Usos are 5. Day's got 6 because he won it with Cody, so that puts him over Jimmy.
Okay.
But Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods has got 7. Big E's got 6. So yeah, this would probably be the.
Well, I think this here will be Woods' second WrestleMania match. Because I'm going through trying to find. Right now, I'm only seeing him in WrestleMania 32 in a match. Because Kofi and Big E had a tag match at WrestleMania 34. Xavier was just in their corner. Because if you notice that most times it's been Kofi and Big E.
Mm-hmm.
But I think this may actually be Xavier's second match ever at WrestleMania. So if that's the case, about time. Uh,
Yeah,
and this is the War Raiders. No, this is not their first. WrestleMania either.
Uh-uh. I like their new look. I wasn't a big fan of the. I wasn't. I wasn't. To me, the whole Viking get up was kind of a play on the '80s uh, crazy gimmicks.
Okay, they were at WrestleMania 39. Well, the thing is, they have Norse blood. Both of them do. So to me, it makes perfect sense for them to go with Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, but the whole just full Viking get up
Like
to
the
me,
whole,
it reminded me of the '80s.
so I
Sheep herders and all that stuff. Back in the day.
oh yeah. Uh,
I'm surprised Nakamura has kind of fell off.
there was word that he's leaving the company, um, but I don't know.
I was watching a video, came across TikTok, I think last night, and there were randomly popped up the five best live ring entrances at WrestleMania. Of course, uh, they had number five at Nakamura,
Really?
and yeah, it was Nita Strauss who plays guitar for Alice Cooper. If you've not seen her play guitar, it's like freaking badass.
Okay, I think I remember that.
She put out a solo album, a couple solo albums, and it's all guitar. Um, she did a collab with some other big female singer that was really good.
Well, he's
Uh,
got one of the better interest themes.
mhm.
Um,
So you going New Day, War Raiders? Which way you going?
I don't know. Again, this one here, I can see it going either way. Um,
Now, some of these may not necessarily be what I want to happen, but this is the way I see the storylines go. I'm basing it on storyline alone. Um,
New Day winning would definitely be on track of them, finally being tired of being overlooked.
mhm.
Last couple of years, even though they've had more tag titles than anybody else.
Yeah, as a babyface,
Yeah. Yes.
this will be their first heel run.
Um,
And if you look at it, all right, say Tiffany wins, she's a favorite. Jay wins, she's a favorite. You know, don't really know about um, the three at the main event of this one, but if you have a heel team, heel win a title, it would be the New Day.
it'll probably end up being them unless Big
Big,
E interferes.
and who's to say? Yeah, and it could be the fact where he comes out and everybody's expecting him to uh, turn on the New Day and actually joins them.
Yeah, so he's had these last couple months to reflect on everything that they have said to him. Hey, you know what? You guys are right.
Hmm.
Because the original heel wasn't very good, that first heel run that they had.
Hmm.
They were more annoying than anything else. With this New Day, It's working.
You remember that discussion we had last show where I was telling you there was somebody that was staring down that kid in the blue shirt at one of the shows. I believe it was Xavier, or not Xavier, but shit. Yeah, Xavier. I believe it was Xavier.
I think
Now
so.
that I think about it.
I think so. You're not talking about the one that John Cena point called out.
Mm-mm. No, this was on the side. I think it was Xavier that actually did it. Now that I think about it,
Okay.
but it was like giving him this go to hell look, just mean mugging his ass. Um, but yeah, I can see Big E showing up, crowd going crazy. You know, him kind of being on the side of the War Raiders
Great.
until something happens and screws them over.
That would be a twist, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because this wouldn't be the first time that somebody has come back from an injury, with thunderous applause, and then all of a sudden they turn heel right then and there.
Hmm.
'Cause I remember Seth Rollins doing that. Yeah, I think that's what will happen. New Day winning, and we're already in agreement that Jacob Fatu is going to win the United States title.
Correct.
Rey Mysterio and El Grande Americano.
Ray's going to wind up winning and pulling the mask off. Unless they prolong this storyline with him, and he winds up winning. Uh, and I would have liked to see the stipulation of mask versus mask in this match.
Oh, that'd be good.
You know Ray would win then because he ain't going to take his mask off a
Yeah,
second time in his career.
that would be it. And why haven't they made that a stipulation? That's
And maybe that'll be something SummerSlam.
un,
And the fact,
unless make that stipulation this Friday night, like the day before. Okay, you know what? No more of this. This is mask versus mask.
and I would say that if they don't Friday, that if they don't do that stipulation, I say Ray loses at WrestleMania, and it prolongs, uh, you know, this Americana thing, and maybe coming to a head in SummerSlam, and then mask versus mask. And it may not even be Ray; it may be somebody else.
Well, I do know that Ray has already said that he would like for his last match to be with Dominic.
I can see that. Um, Here's the thing. Of course, that's jumping ahead, but I'll wait. I'll wait on my thoughts on that.
Um,
I'm torn on this one now that I've thought about it a little bit. I was pushing it Ray, but if they end this Americana thing this quick, it's like a big build up for a while, or a short build up of it, and then you just pull the plug out of it.
well, look at. Oh, you probably weren't watching it at the time. But 20 years ago, Hulk Hogan did a thing as Mr. America.
Uh huh.
That didn't last very long either.
Well, back in the 80s, the smaller organizations like Mid South and all your other little um, organizations, you had a lot of that stuff. You had loser leave town stuff, and then they would show back up in a mask.
Yeah. Well,
Um,
Dusty had
hmm
did that Midnight Rider.
hmm I remember that. I'm wanting to say Cowboy Bill Watts did something similar uh, with that also.
Yeah, it's too soon to try to kill the thing with Chad. I'm going to say he's the one that goes over, and like you said, they keep this going until SummerSlam at the latest. Maybe, or they could kill it at. Let's see where they're at. I'm thinking June.
Anybody still out there watching? Nigel, Nick, Willow.
Yeah, we still got a couple viewers, but nobody's chatting.
I'd
Uh,
like some
well,
input on their thoughts.
nobody ever comments on Twitch. Nobody real anyway. Um, they had Backlash announced in May, and then nothing for June and July. So, but we know that Money in the Bank is going to be happening in July. Um,
SummerSlam is in August.
SummerSlam's in August. Uh, Rumor is that um, they're bringing Evolution back, the women's pay per view. Rumor is they're bringing Evolution back. I think also in July. Um, if they bring
The
back King and Queen of the Ring, that'll be in June. And if they keep that in the states, they may take the mask off then. Um, but I'm going to go with Chad on this one for WrestleMania.
story wise, I would like to see Ray. Or personally wise, I'd like to see Ray win. Storyline wise, I'm gonna go the same.
Ray's had plenty of victories at WrestleMania. He can spare one.
So, yeah, I'm gonna go with Americana
Yeah.
on this one.
The main event, I can't.
I'm gonna go with Punk just for the storyline. I'm going with Punk.
I might give the edge to Seth if Heyman turns on Roman and CM Punk. It'll be Seth. Did you hear that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going with Punk.
Okay. But we
Uh,
agree Roman's not going to win this one.
I'm going with Punk. Simple thing that is gonna. Well, I don't know.
I would like to see Punk win because he wins the main event.
That's kind of the reasoning of me picking him over Seth. Now, it,
Hi,
hey,
Garrett.
hey Garrett, that's my son. Um, I kind of look at it could be Roman, but that would entail Heyman turning his back on both Punk and Roman. Uh, now, I think they're going to wind up giving it to CM Punk. Just a simple fact, it's a
Win. Does
it,
Roman need the win?
who needs the win?
Roman. Does he need this win?
I think he's going to do what's best for the company, and I think that what's good for business is CM Punk winning. Well, no, what's good for business would be Seth winning with help from Heyman.
That's probably
Now,
what's going to end up happening.
now, CM Punk don't have many years left. I see him winning WrestleMania, getting a WrestleMania win, headlining and winning.
Let's see. He's 46 years old. Um,
Another 10 years, and it really depends. I mean, you got people that shouldn't be wrestling anymore still trying to.
I doubt he's got
uh,
10 years. I'll give him 50. I'll give him to 50. Retire at 50.
Well, it depends, because you got Flair still hollering one more match. He's going to be in a wheelchair out there hollering one more match, one more match. You know,
Rick is stubborn.
and I
He's
and I and
stubborn.
I understand the mindset. I understand the mindset. It's something that you've done your whole life, and you don't want to give it up.
Especially when he was told in his 20s that he would never wrestle again.
Hmm. So I can see as you get older, your mind wants to do more than your body is capable
Yeah.
of. The martial arts stuff.
And,
I've
and
had
you and I, we got that kind of a mindset. Like, I should be able to do this. I know I should be able to do this, but I can't.
yeah. I had retired from competition years ago, and of course that didn't last long. That's about a year, two.
See, you just made my point.
Well, I don't want to sound egotistical, but I saw some tournaments that I went to, and I was on board of directors of one of these tournaments, and I'm like, I see the caliber that's out there, and I was like, there's no way I could easily, you know, compete and stay with these guys easily.
Let's see here. I want to see if there is a pattern. No. I was checking to see if maybe the heel wins. Okay, WrestleMania 40. Heels won night one, face one night two. WrestleMania 39. Face heel. 38. Face heel. 37. Face heel. 36. Face face. Okay. So the first time WrestleMania did a two nighter, it was face face, winning the main event both nights. Ever since then, it's been face and heel winning.
And so if you got Cody winning, beating John, then that means that CM Punk would probably wind up winning.
See, that's the thing. None of those three are heels, technically.
Seth is closer to that than the other two, but
He,
I did see a change in Roman the other night, um, kind of going towards a heel.
so when you look at it, well, no, I can't even say Punk is a tweener now. Well, I think John Cena's going to win the title. Um, I'll just put that out there. Oh, I'm still going to give the edge to Seth Rollins. I think something is going to happen. Paul Heyman is either scheming with Seth Rollins or he is going to see the truth finally that what Seth has been saying that Punk and Reigns are using him as a pawn between the two.
Hmm.
And that he will finally wake up and align with Seth and cause him to win the match. That's what I think is going to happen.
That's a good storyline.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. But you're sticking with Punk, right?
on the sole purpose, the sole reasoning that he doesn't have a WrestleMania win. That's it's good for Seth or good for Punk on that note. But what's better for storyline is Seth.
Yeah.
I'm,
The
I'm still gonna lean. I'm still gonna lean to CM Punk.
the only reason I can see Punk winning is so that he can be the closing winner for WrestleMania because that's really what he wants. Um, but if he does not win his match this year, then he will definitely, I think, win the Rumble next year and go on to win a title at WrestleMania, closing the show as the winner.
I can see that.
Yeah. Okay, so we are about 50-50 on the matches for night one. Moving
So
on to night two.
while we're in here, if you're rewatching this on YouTube or on one of the other streaming platforms, y'all post in the comments, your ideas of who's going to wind up
Oh, yeah.
winning one and two, night one and two. Give some feedback.
Let's
So
see here.
night two,
Uh,
night two.
okay, night two, the way that they had this listed, and I can actually see in this being the lineup. You have Io versus Bianca versus Rhea for the women's world title. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez versus Bailey and Lyra Valkyria for the women's tag team championship. I'm glad that's finally being showcased. Although there's a lot of people up, and rightfully so, a lot of people upset that the women's intercontinental and U.S. titles are not being featured. Um, then Braun Breaker versus Penta versus Finn Balor versus Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Damian Priest versus Drew McIntyre in a Sin City street fight. And then finally, Cody and John.
All right, let's get to it. Io, Bianca, and Rhea. I already got my pick.
I'm going to say Io.
We're in agreement.
I'm going to say Io. I think that Bianca and Rhea are not going to be paying her any attention. They're just going to be focused solely on each other. And Io is going to sneak out a win.
I do believe she's going to wind up winning because she's definitely the underdog as far as the match goes. So I see some interference coming in,
From
possibly
Jade.
from Jade or Naomi. It really depends on what happens that first night.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Or think of this. Think of this. What if, say, Bianca interferes with Jade and Naomi and reveals herself as the attacker? What if Jade attacks Bianca to where she cannot participate in the match the next night?
hits before she comes down. Possibility.
Yeah.
Um,
But like you said, it's going to depend on what happened on that first night.
but her winning the Rumble, when negate uh, that whole Rumble thing.
Charlotte won the Rumble. Bianca won the chamber.
That's right. That's right. Um, I see. Like I said, it really depends on what happens. It really, I
I
guess, really doesn't matter what happens storyline wise. I still think
thought
Io's going to win.
I still thought it was the most adorable thing seeing Io Sky jumping up and down, yelling at those two. It's like, hey, do not ignore. That was that was just adorable.
Oh, the other night she come off the top rope on the outside of the ring, come over and springboarded off the rope.
Oh
Uh,
man, that was hard.
yeah, I want to say that who was it? Who hit who? Rhea. Yeah, Rhea took the kick,
Yep.
and it looked like her head hit Bianca's knee.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
'Cause she was holding her head, towards the end of it for a few minutes anyway.
No, I did not even notice that. Let me see if I can pull that. No, that would have been. Oh, now you want to stall on loading up?
Now you're having technical difficulties.
Let's see here if I can. Holy cow, they've added a lot of content here finally. Um, no, that wasn't this past Friday. That was the Friday. That was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I didn't get to see everything that happened. What was it? Was it Monday? Are they on Raw?
Oh, yes. Yes, you're right. Okay. Okay, I got it up right now. I'm looking at it. No, she hit her shoulder.
She hit her shoulder. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, maybe she was selling it then.
No, she smacked right into her shoulder. I can't. Let's see. Playback speed.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know that, YouTube stuff, you can play back your play speed. I didn't realize that till a few months ago.
Let's see. She hit the side of her face.
Okay,
It's like right here. That
that's
was
an easy
a hard hit.
that's an easy spot right there to bust.
Yeah.
Right there.
But she seemed to be okay because there's a video of her and Buddy Matthews being at um, UFC.
Okay,
Um, so Io for the win.
I agree. EO.
Next match: AJ Styles and Logan Paul. uh,
I'm a toss up on this one. I think it's going to be a very good, high flying, crazy match. I think whoever wins, it's not over. I think it'll go past WrestleMania. I see probably Logan Paul winning by some sort of cheating.
well, let's see here. Does he have a cage match yet? No, he does not. Let's see what this profile here has. Win loss record. So pay per view loss. He is 5-9, 5 wins, 9 losses.
Logan.
Yes.
I think Logan Paul will win this one. And like I said, I think it'll be some kind of cheating involved, storyline wise, and then this will go on past WrestleMania. I think they'll start a little feud because neither one of them really have anything else going storyline wise.
Not really.
So I think it'd be a good way to keep them in the mix. Have a feud run for a month or two.
So AJ right now is sitting at, well, oh, that only goes up to 38. Um,
38 was Boneyard.
that was 36.
Oh,
No,
so
um,
that long?
they posted a win loss record of 4-3, but that was as of WrestleMania 38. So I need to go back and see where he was at. Uh, okay, last year he lost, so that's 4-4. And WrestleMania 39, he did not have a match at 39. So AJ is 4-4 for WrestleMania matches. Uh yeah, that's really close to.
This one could go either way, but I'm kind of leaning towards Logan. Um, and it really depends, behind the scenes, what Logan Paul is planning on doing because he's been, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring, I'm coming back. He was kind of back and forth for a while.
Yeah.
Um, so, if his case is him losing, is he going to disappear again? You know,
Yeah, he will, especially after he made a comment last year saying he wanted to be the workhorse of this year. But that ain't happening.
well,
Paul won his match last year, and then I think he lost all the others before. Um, I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to go with Logan on this one.
so it's 2 for 2 on this one.
Yeah. Not crazy about that, but I think it's going to end up being Logan. Liv and Raquel versus Bailey and Lyra.
I already got my pick.
I'm going with Liv and Raquel.
We're at odds again.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh, for the simple reason of my next pick. That's the reason of my next pick. Yeah, it could go either way. With the with the whole U.S. title, women's U.S. title thing in play, I can see where Raquel and Liv keep the titles instead of having Lady Valkyria having two
Yeah,
titles.
no title.
Huh?
She has the Intercontinental title.
Who's got the women's U.S.?
Chelsea Green.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's a whole other story. Yeah, that's um,
Yeah, and that's actually upsetting because of what she's been doing with the title since she's won it, and
and
not have a
NXT.
WrestleMania match is
Yes,
traitorous. think.
She was just at NXT and got beat by Soruka.
Chelsea Green was? I did not know that. Speaking of Soruka, she won the women's speed title a couple of days ago.
Let me make sure I'm being right. I don't want to give false information. It was a tag match.
Oh, okay. Well, Soruka has won the women's speed championship on Friday, but it's not going to be aired until Wednesday. So technically, she is still at -3 days before she wins the title.
Yeah. It was Soruka, Zarya, Chelsea Green, and Piper. Tag match.
Oh, that would have been a good match.
And Ruka wound up giving the Soul Snatcher to Green. That was on.
Oh, and that should put her right up there at the top of the line for a title match.
Yeah. That was probably the last NXT, if I had to guess.
Okay,
Um,
be a good way to introduce her to the main roster.
right. And I see that happening soon.
Yeah. Now, reason I'm going with Liv and Raquel is number one, the double champion thing again, and number two, there was a bit of a tease of Bailey turning on Lyra.
Really.
Yeah, because Lyra had beaten Bailey in a match a couple weeks ago,
Hmm.
and there was that tiny little tease that
Oh, not shaking hands.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we might see something on that one. Um, Braun, Penta, Finn, and Dominic.
Let me change my choice. I was going with
Oh, you're gonna switch over to Liv and Raquel?
yeah, just for the simple fact that
Yeah,
huh?
I converted you.
You converted me on that one. Just a simple fact of kind of my next pick, and I was kind of thinking a different way a while ago, but now I'm like, I could see this happening,
Yeah,
um, and it builds up something else, and I'll get to that. Braun Breaker, Penta. I could easily see Penta taking this,
I
but
can't do.
I'm going with Dominic.
I'm going with Dominic too.
Gosh, we're right on
I
the page now.
because I think what's going to happen is that this is going to be the true explosion of Judgment Day.
I see Liv and Raquel keeping their tag titles. Then you have Dom winning his first singles title.
Second,
Second,
well, technically, it'll be his first in WWE. He won the North American Championship in NXT.
till they get to the main roster. I see Dom winning this, and then you have two titles in Judgment Day,
Hmm.
which brings up to um, hold on, I'm missing something somewhere.
Yeah, I think something's going to happen with Finn and Dominic.
Yeah,
Dominic is going to literally steal the Intercontinental. I don't think Braun's going to be pinned. I think what will end up happening is Dominic ends up pinning Finn. Holy cow, shut up. Um, Dominic is going to pin Finn. That's what I'm thinking. Because Braun and Penta are fighting it out, and somehow Finn gets knocked out, and Dominic gets the pin.
I agree, and that's going to cause a rift in the Judgment Day
Major.
because they've already kind of hinted a little bit. Because I think it was like Liv maybe telling
They haven't been kind of hinting it.
Finn,
It's been brewing for months now.
yeah, like who's what's better than having not one Judgment Day but two guys? We got a better chance of somebody bringing the title home.
Right.
So and Liv was pushing to get Dominic in the match. So yeah, I say Dominic's going to wind up winning. They're going to be both of them going to be holding titles. Finn's going to be kind of kicked to the curb. There's going to be a title match between him and Dominic down the line.
Possibly, yeah. Yep. Yeah. I can easily see that happen. And plus, Dominic is when you go back to when he first started and look at him now, holy cow, he has improved tremendously.
Yes, I
Um,
think it'll really play into you got Io Sky winning, keeping her title. You got Liv Morgan Rodriguez, and then Dom. So you got two heels winning, which leaves Cody winning, beating Cena.
I'm going with Cena on this one. We haven't talked about Damien and Drew yet.
No, I know. I was just kind of jumping ahead. I see Drew winning this just for the simple fact of the storyline continuing. I'm just getting all notifications now.
You're in that chat too.
I muted mine for a little bit, for a couple hours.
Uh, yeah, I'm just going to close the page. Um,
I'm going with Drew. Simple fact the storyline continues.
I think I think I'm going to agree on that one. Um, not just
I want to
because of
win.
the storyline, but because of the work that Drew has been doing for the last couple of years. It's like nobody's been able to really touch him. Um, and plus, it gives him a revenge on Damien from last year.
Mm-hmm. True.
So, yeah, I'm going to go with Drew on that one.
That's going to be that. That's a street fight, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be.
So they're going to be all over the arena.
That's going to be a good bloody, hopefully bloody mess.
So I wonder with, from the picture of what we've seen at the stage, it seems like there are two different platforms. Because there's the top platform and then there's something underneath it.
Think somebody's going off the top.
Maybe.
Hadn't seen it in a while.
Well, saw Jimmy
Last year.
spear Jimmy off the top of the ramp last year.
Mm-hmm. That's what I said. We ain't seen it in a while. It's been a whole year.
So there's going to be something happening. But I see Damien and Drew going all over that stadium.
I agree.
if it's going to be a street fight, it has you have to.
Hmm.
They're going to have a lot of room. Now, Cody and John, you're going
Yeah.
Cody. I'm going John.
Well, it's the only one we're at odds, isn't it?
Yeah,
On night two, anyway.
I
All right,
want.
we still got one that's not announced, but I really think that this is going to happen. I believe it's Randy Orton versus Solo.
I think it's going to be Randy and Aldis versus Solo and Thomas. People want Randy versus Aldis, and that might still happen. But after what happened on SmackDown 2 nights ago, I think it'll end up being a tag match. But we will see. Um, have you been following NXT at all?
Not really. I just saw that one match with just saw the highlights.
Okay,
Um,
I'll just run down Stand and Deliver really quick for you. They have 5 matches for the. They're going to have a ladder match for the vacant women's North American Championship. So far, out of the 6 that are going to be involved, they have Zarya, Kalani Jordan, Soruka, and Izzy Dame in it. I'm going with Soruka. It doesn't matter who the other two are. I'm picking Soruka on this one.
I would say you're probably correct. It really depends on where they see her going, and this may be that extra stepping stone to get her in the main roster.
Probably.
Um, I see. Yeah, I can see Soruka winning that. I mean, she's a big fan favorite. Um,
Then for the women's championship, it's a 4-way. Stephanie Bakir versus Julia versus Jordan Grace versus Jada Parker.
I don't know. I haven't watched that much of them to really make a good educated decision on that. I have to actually watch a little bit of NXT. When is NXT on Tuesdays or Wednesdays?
Tuesday.
Tuesdays. Yeah.
Tuesday.
Um, so yeah.
Stephanie's only had the title for a month, so I'm going to give her the edge. Um, because I think Jordan Grace is going to be pushed to the main roster really soon. So I'm going to go with Stephanie Bakir.
What is the pay per view?
Stand and deliver. Then the next one is the tag title match with Nathan Frazier and Axiom. They don't have an opponent yet. There's some gauntlet match that's going to be taking place. So that has not. So their opponents have not been announced. Also, Ricky Saints, the old Ricky Starks, is the North American champion. He's going to be taking on again a winner of a 4-way match. So that match is not announced. Then in the main event, you have the NXT Championship triple threat: Obi Fema, Trick Williams, and Javon Evans. I think Trick is ready to move to the main roster. Orba is ready to move to the main roster. So I think Javon's going to end up winning. And he's the smallest guy there.
I will go with Stephanie on that second match.
Okay.
Okay, and they don't have a. They still got gauntlet match going on that one. So
Yeah. I think no matter who wins that gauntlet match, they will end up winning the tag titles from Frazier and Axiom. For the simple fact is that for about a year now, those two have been having communication problems, but yet somehow are still able to win their matches. And Ricky Saints, he's going to win, no matter who his opponent is. He's going to win. He just got there.
Yeah, yeah. If he just won the title not long ago, I see him keeping it for a little bit.
Well, it's not that he won the title not that long ago. He won the title like 3 matches in.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's only had 3 matches with NXT, and he won the North American title on his third match.
And what time is okay? 1 p.m. Eastern, so it's going to be 11 o'clock. No, 12 o'clock here. I will not see that. I will not be able to watch that one.
Oh, Stand and Deliver.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it on replay.
I haven't even seen what time that one's going to be.
I just saw on Wiki that it was 1 Eastern.
12 o'clock. Okay. Oh boy, that's okay. So it'll be
Over by 3 o'clock.
yeah, it's going to be almost going right into
It'll
Wrestle
go into
Show. Wow,
Yeah, it'll go right into the pre-show. So it's all day wrestling.
it is. So that means I need to get up early Saturday and get all my writing done before NXT starts.
So you got Friday night, you got SmackDown, you got Hall of Fame.
Hmm.
Saturday's a full day, and then Sunday's WrestleMania, the
Yeah.
second night. So it's like, gosh, it's big.
Hall of Fame. The inductors have been announced. So Triple H is going to be inducted by Shawn Michaels. Everybody knew that. This here is a surprise. Michelle McCool is being inducted by The Undertaker. I thought
Uh,
for sure Layla would end up being her inductor. Uh,
yeah, I kind of see where, you know, Taker would be the one to induct her.
I can too, but I think that this will be the first time that somebody has inducted their spouse into the Hall of Fame. This one is disappointing. Lex Luger is being inducted by Dallas Page.
I I can see why. Um, I think there was talk, or at least fan wanted Sting. I think we discussed that last time. That'd have been really good.
Did both of them.
Um, but I can see where he wants DDP to do it.
Yeah. Well,
Um, and
he wanted him and Sting to do it together because Sting's a lifelong best friend for Lex.
and it might pop up. You know, maybe we'll get that surprise.
He could maybe. I don't know.
It'd be a nice little surprise on the Hall of Fame night.
It,
He's probably going to be there.
huh?
And he's probably going to be there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Natural disasters has not been announced who's going to be inducting them, but I don't see how it can not be Jimmy Hart.
I
because
agree.
manager.
I agree.
Um, the and this one here is also a surprise for me too. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold match is being inducted by CM Punk.
Why?
I don't know. I would have thought that Ken Shamrock would have been the one doing that one, but not all inductors make sense.
Hmm.
And then you got well, they don't have inductors, but then you have Kamala, which I'm really happy for. Dory Funk Sr. and Ivan Koloff. They're just being thrown in there.
Stephanie.
Well, they never had inductors for the Legacy Wing.
Somebody's got to announce it.
Oh, it'll be announced. The what they've done before is that they had like a video package and then some narrator saying who it is and what they've done. And then at the end of that package, everybody in the legacy portion is together in one picture. That's what they've done. Um, but when they've done that, they've always had like six, seven, eight of them. This time they only have three.
Have they had any family members there?
Uh,
I know they've done, when they've inducted like JYD and some of the others that have passed on. The family is there.
well, that's because he had a standard induction
Hmm.
where they would come and make a speech and whatever. These guys are not getting that. Um, but Dory Funk Jr. is still alive, so he might be there. Um, Ivan Koloff, I don't know.
I know Kamala's dead.
Yes.
He was, I want to remember what documentary I saw. There was some kind of documentary I saw with, they're showing him uh, in his last few years was rough.
Oh,
He was diabetic. I think he had at least lost one leg, if not both. Uh,
it's both.
he was in a wheelchair. He was uh, in northern Mississippi, I believe, is where he was living, in just this ratty little house. It's just it's sad to see those old superstars like that um, kind of get, I don't say get pushed to the side, but pushed to the side and forgotten about. Jake was the same way. Now, of course, Jake had his own little demons to deal with, to get him in that situation.
True, but he was able to beat those demons.
Yeah, and I'm like, Jake is probably my second favorite wrestler of all time.
Is he?
Yeah, um, I don't know why. Just it was just different. Um, nobody got it from the DDT back in the day.
He was one of the best promos.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
we actually got to see him. We had a little organization here that came through, and he was the guest wrestler that night. And we got to see him. It was back during his rough days. Um, but
let's see, Kamala. Oh, he's got six children. So so there might be an appearance. Let's see, five daughters and one son. So there might be an appearance.
I would say one of the dogs are going to show up.
Let's see. And I'm just kind of looking over something.
You
Come up.
say Ivan Carlos the next one.
I can't find any family on Ivan. Kamala was a songwriter.
What?
Beginning in 1993, Harris wrote, performed, and produced his own music. He wrote over 100 songs. Some discuss his frustration with the working conditions he experienced in the wrestling industry. He released his debut album, The Best of Kamala Volume 1, via his website. I
Yeah,
did
look that
not
up.
know that.
Oh, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to check that out. And this is back in 2007.
What's his first name? Or what's his real name?
James Harris. And it's kind of odd. James Harris is Kamala, and then we just had Kamala Harris running for president a few months ago.
I'll hold my
What,
thoughts on it.
what are the odds of that?
He was 70 year old, 70s, 70 years old. Gosh, I can't talk.
Yeah.
70 years old when he passed. Says he dies of COVID, but back in that time, it's like
And
everybody
he died
died.
in Oxford, Mississippi. Where is that from you?
Oxford is about 2 hours and 30 minutes away. Ole Miss.
Okay.
Um,
But I'm really glad he's being inducted in the Hall of Fame. Um, until recently, I had forgotten that he actually had a match at WrestleMania. He was a part of the Gimmick Battle Royal, which he did really good in that one. So at least he had a WrestleMania match. I'm happy about that. I really enjoyed him, especially in '92 when he had that feud with the Undertaker. His facial expressions were so funny. Um,
Family of James Kamala Harris comments on 2025 WWE Legacy. What just happened? Stuff just went blank.
so it's sad that he's gone, but he definitely left a lasting impression on people. Oh, you've frozen again, and he's gone. Well, that is actually basically kind of the end of the show. Um, I will wait and give him a couple of minutes to try to get back on. Let's see. Ah, what happened there?
I tried to open up a page and it just, I guess, a memory dump. It just froze everything.
Wow.
So I'll look that stuff up later. Um, but yeah, if you look up the on if you look up James Harris Kamala, and there's a story on the family commenting on the induction.
He's had a rough life. His father was murdered when he was 4 years old. And also, his sister was murdered in 1993. Um, yeah, he had a bit of a rough life, and he also wrote a book. And I've been wanting to get that book too because I really want to read his story. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna look it up now.
I'm on his wiki page. He was born in Senatobia, 1950, which is Senatobia, Mississippi, which is, I guess, about an hour from Oxford.
Let's see.
He was married to Sheila Stover from 74 to 2005. I don't know what the thing of that was. He was
Okay,
married
I found his book on Amazon. It's pricey though,
Oh, that's because he's gone.
$25.
Too bad.
Yeah, I think for him, yeah, it'll be worth it.
Wonder where the money goes. Wonder if it goes to his estate, goes to his kids.
But he's definitely one of those stories that I would really like to read. Tito Santana is another one. He has a book out, and his is even more expensive, $27. So, oh wow, we've been at it for over 2 hours now, and we've covered everything too. So that's good. But I am going to have to get going because I've got another show that I got to do in 2 hours. You froze again. All right, folks. This is probably a good time to go ahead and call it a show. Thank you so much for playing along. And WrestleMania next weekend, definitely not going to want to miss. It's going to be a long thing. 18 hours of WrestleMania. And then you also have Stand and Deliver. So that's going to be 2 or 3 hours. And then you got the Hall of Fame right after SmackDown on Friday night. So it's going to be a busy weekend for wrestling fans. And then there's going to be all of the other things. They have the WrestleCons and uh, who knows what else. It's usually like some 20. Oh, I'm surprised you got back on.
Yeah, it's just doing some crazy stuff.
Well, I was just doing a quick recap of what's happening next weekend because not only do we have the Hall of Fame, SmackDown, Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania, and also Monday Night Raw, but there's going to be like 20 other wrestling shows that weekend too because they always do the independent scenes in the same city as WrestleMania.
I can see why. It's like wrestling all weekend. You're already in town. Why not get a ticket to ours?
Right.
It's good business sense.
So wherever WrestleMania goes, that's where everybody else follows, and it wrestling takes over the city, literally.
I
Um,
can see it.
and also, and you too, Donald. Also, if you have not checked out, I don't know what the official title is. Um, the one that they just made for WrestleMania 9. Yeah, WrestleMania 9 becoming a spectacle. If you haven't had a chance to see that, definitely check that out. Worth a watch. Very, very good. They had Hulk Hogan, Bret Hart, Bruce Pritchard, Sean Mooney, um, Scott Steiner, Lex Luger. Let's see that they also had Jim Ross on there, but I think that one might have been an older clip from an interview. Uh, and then they also had some people that were working at Caesar's Palace in for the interview. And fun fact, Nick Khan, the president and CEO of, was working as an usher at WrestleMania 9.
Really,
Yeah,
got his foot in the door.
they show that at the very end of the show.
Um, what platform is that? Peacock.
It's on Peacock.
Okay, I'm about to check that out.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
very good show. Very
there's a
documentary.
there's a lot of good documentaries on there.
Yeah.
Um, if you like the behind the scenes stuff, not just the show itself. Um,
And there it is. Nick Khan, born and raised in Las Vegas, so that makes perfect sense. So, all right. Any final words before we adjourn? I think we agreed we're going to try to do a show on Sunday to talk about the previous night's WrestleMania.
it'd have to be kind of early, maybe about 1 o'clock ish my time. Way we can maybe get done before the show comes on. If it runs in the pre-show, I'm not worried about the pre-show. We would,
That
all pre-shows are is
leaves us 2 hours before the pre-show.
yeah, all it is pre-shows to me is recapping what we've already watched.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, pre-show is going to be 3 hours long instead of two. Why I don't know.
so that gives us plenty of time. So
Yeah. I usually use the pre-show to try to finish my writing if I need to, and also to cook whatever I'm going to have, um, which I think will only end up being a pizza.
yeah, I got to figure out something for next week.
All right. I'll definitely check in with Chris to see if he wants to join us on that one. I'm not sure what's going on with Joe right now. Have you been following up on that one?
I saw a couple messages earlier.
Yeah.
I
So
haven't. I'm gonna check back on it in just a minute.
yeah, I had to see what's going on there. Um, but until then, yeah, we'll plan for because so that'll be 2 o'clock my time next Sunday.
Next Sunday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, y'all enjoy the show. If you're watching on the replay, check out our other videos.
Yes.
Listen to our predictions on the two night of WrestleMania this year. Give us your opinion.
Yeah, we're about 50-50 on that.
Pretty good on the second night.
Yeah.
Pretty even on the second night, not the
And
first
I
one.
think I actually got you to change your pick,
Yeah, you got me one on that one.
and I wasn't even trying to either. So, all right, Donald. Well, I guess we will see everybody next week and enjoy the show.
See y'all.
See you all later, folks.